Alright, today I'm just going to show you how to add a low-cost smart home controller for your garage door that you can manage and control with your phone.
Alright, so I'm going to be taking this off the wall and connecting the wires to the back of it, and I'll show you how to do that. I want to add a little disclaimer here. This is a DIY project, and essentially you're hacking into your garage door controller, and you really shouldn't move forward unless you're comfortable with this type of project. You know, you could void the warranty or even cause damage to your garage door system, and possibly has some insurance implications.
So we removed this is the garage door opener button, and this simple piece of plastic here. When you push that down, you might be able to hear it. Clicks the button, and that's just this button right here. So we could connect to these two wires, but that won't work because there's some logic in here, I think mostly for security reasons. So we have to connect directly to this button that's inside here on the circuit board. For older versions of garage door openers, it used to be just a simple button. It didn't have the logic like this one has. And you could connect directly just to the button there in parallel. But because this has this logic, we're going to have to take this apart and connect directly to this switch. All right. And our switch that we're looking for is right here. So I can't get to it from the back side. So I've tested this previously, and you're just looking for the normally open contacts on this switch, and that's these two on this side here. So I'm going to solder a couple little wires to there, and I picked some wires similar to the wire used in the garage door system, so something with similar gauge. It's very low current, so a smaller gauge is fine. In the edges of the wire, it doesn't matter which wire goes where, because this is just shorting out a couple contacts. And I'm not an expert solderer, but I can get the job done. If you're not comfortable soldering or doing this kind of work, you should consult a professional. All right, let's see if we can put it back together. All right. Now it's ready to put back on the wall, and it should work like normal. But we can also open and close the garage door with our relay contact set up. All right, we're going to use our DIY smart switch to connect to this through the relay contacts here. And I'm just going to show you how to connect it to your phone. And it comes with a remote, and you can add more remotes, and we're actually working on leak sensors as well, so that you can open and close it with the remote. You can just hear it click here. I'm pushing the remote. But you're going to be able to do that with your phone in a second, and that's how you can open and close the garage. So let's just connect it to the app on my phone. So you don't need a hub, you power it here. So you can power it with a 5-volt connection here. That's just a USB with a USB adapter. 32 volts by using the terminal block. So these connections and these are the power connections. So I'm just going to power it with the 5 volts. Let's connect it to my phone. All right, so I've got the app here. It's called eWi Link. So I'm just going to add a device. I have 0 devices there now. And I'm going to put this into pairing mode by holding down the first button here. It should start to blink quickly. All right, I think that's pairing mode. I'm just going to select pairing. It goes to my network, and now it's just going to take a few seconds here. All right, so it's found the device. I'm going to give it a name here. Call it garage door. And it takes a minute or so to reclimate. It's connected to my phone with the app, so I can turn it off on here. You can hear it clicking, and of course I can kind of zoom in and do the same thing. off on. But of course, that's not what you want for a garage door. You just push that button and let go. So let's go to the settings and inching settings, it's called. And we're going to turn on inching and just leave it at half a second. So it's going to turn that on and then turn it right back off, basically. All right, so it's always going to be off, and it's acting like a momentary switch now. So when you can hear it click on and off. So basically now when you do that, it's going to open the garage door or close the garage door, whatever state it's in. And it's the same for the remote. You can add the remotes and it'll do the same thing. Clicks on, clicks off. And that's that part. So now we're going to put this back in the garage, hook it back up to the red and white wire, and then connect these two wires to the normally open contacts here. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Alright, so I'm just going to reconnect these two wires here, to these two wires here. There's a red and a white, and it's marked on here red and white, and it's going to hook up to my garage door opener up there. And we'll test it before we hook it up to the relay, these wires. We'll wait and just make sure everything works. Alright, so I've reinstalled the keypad, and this is the wire that's going to go to our Wi-Fi controller relay. And let's just test it and make sure the door is working before we hook everything else up. Alright, so you can see it's working. And now let's connect the two wires to the Wi-Fi device. Okay, so I've stripped the wire, and these two here are the normally open on the left side here. Right, put the lid back on. And I've got the double-sided tape here. I'm just going to put it on the wall for sake of simplicity. Okay, so we've hooked it up. Now we need to hook it up to power before we put it on the wall. So I'm just going to use the USB power port. So it's going to run off of 5 volts, and I'm just using a standard USB charger. Alright, so I've mounted it up high here because I don't have a great Wi-Fi signal in the garage. And it's connected to power. That's just temporary. I'm going to tidy that up. And you can see my garage door opener and the controller. Alright, so let's just give it a test. Got the app open on my phone. You can see that. And there we go, it's opening the garage.
It also works with your remote.
And I'll close the garage. One thing is missing here. You don't know, the app doesn't know if the garage door is open or closed. And of course you can't tell by looking at the switch because it's a momentary switch. It just goes off. It goes on and then right off. So you need to add a door sensor. And I'll show you that in another video. Or in my case, I have a camera in here. I can just look to see if it works. I can go to my other app to see if it's doing that. But a good idea is just to add a door sensor. And then later you can add some automation with that too.